Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another week. A little bit of a late recording. Late as in it's been a while since the last recording, and late as in it's just pretty late in the day right now. I'm recording around 2:30 ish in the morning right now, so it's been a pretty long day. But I was thinking about finally giving an update on what I've been building, what I've been working on, and then kind of touching on kind of where we're going with. Is it Alliance Insight? Is that the next set? No. Am I a dope? I'm like absolutely brain farting. Duelist. Duelist Advance. God damn. Holy shit, that was hard. I don't know why I said Alliance Insight. That's like old set. That was like a few months ago. Anyways, Duelist Advance, the updated cards coming in through Duelist Advance. It's definitely going to be interesting to see those prices kind of come in. Pre-sale items are already starting to hit. The Holy Sues are being listed at $60 a piece. Luckily for myself, I actually pre-ordered. I actually did a pre-sale purchase. I purchased them at 40 a piece, so I got all of mine for 120 total, plus like $10 shipping because I think they're coming out of the EU. But either way, a lot less than the current 60 on TCG Player. It'll be interesting to see. Anyways, wrapping back right now. I think in the last video I talked a bit about maybe playing that Harpy deck in the interim. Definitely not. The Primite cards didn't come down enough for me to want to like build that deck and like invest all that money, I guess, into a deck that's like kind of like a for fun deck. So I've kind of just put that to the side. Like I spent maybe like $12 on all the cards to like flesh it out, minus the Primite cards, but with Lordly Load still being at like $30 a piece, I didn't really feel like it was worth it for like a meme deck. Um, so I've kind of doubled down into the Vanquish Soul, especially as Duelist Advanced is coming out here soon. Um, I really wanted to get some reps on the deck over the table and kind of get some like thoughts, feel out some lines, and like kind of get like an initial play feel for it. So I guess I'll start with kind of like what I'm playing right now. We're starting Triple Fenrir. Uh, since Holy Sue's not released yet, we need a little bit of like uh, deck filler, and we need it to be something that's like really punchy, kind of like on it, like able to stand on its own, and also match attribute with the Vanquish Soul cards, which, for those who are not as aware, is Fire, Earth, and Dark. Then double Rise Heart and doubled Pressured Planet. Since the Vanquish Soul Field spell is not out yet either, um, including Pressured Planet felt like a pretty good option, as it just kind of increases consistency of being able to kind of like search out the attributes I need to trigger my other effects. That's why Fenrir I think is so good, because Fenrir can search himself to get you another Earth, or he can search the Rise Heart to get you Fire. But that's it for the Kashtira. Short, and sweet this time around. Nothing too crazy, and including the Rise Hearts gives you easy access to a rank 7 if all things else fail and you're having like a little bit of trouble off like a brick. But between Heavy Borger, Fenrir and Rise Heart, you're actually able to transmission rank 7s pretty easily if that's the line you want to take. Usually not optimal. I feel like just leaving the bodies on the field to get effects off during your opponent's turn is usually better, but sometimes going into a rank 7 is nice. Then going into the Vanquish Soul, I have received them since our last video, but triple Raisin, bread and butter normal summon of the deck. Triple Jiaolong, bread and butter first search because he's a secondary search. And triple Heavy Borger. I like running 3 of Borger just because Mad Love, you can't run a ton of them right now just because there's not really like good targets since the field spell is not released yet. Then I'm running single Caesar, single Dr. Madlove, and single Pantera. All of these are pretty basic, pretty straightforward. Nothing too crazy. I think it's a good amount of saturation of Vanquish Soul monsters. Then I'm running the triple Stake Your Soul and single Snow Devil. I actually super lucked out. I think I was maybe talking about like my preemptive purchases a month or two ago. I purchased my Jiaolongs at under $5 a piece. I think they're currently an $18 card. And I purchased my Stake Your Souls at I think like 15, and now they are almost 40 currently. So I feel like I got really lucky, kind of pulling the trigger early, grabbing the cards before they shot up in price. Raisins were already kind of expensive, and so were the Borgers, just due to accessibility, I think, since the only printings I think of either are secret rare. So I don't think, because the Jiaolongs are ultras, but as a result, I think those were just naturally already expensive. But they haven't actually gone up that much since the start of Vanquish Soul hype, I guess. But great cards. I've been having a ton of fun playing them so far, and I'm super hyped for this format. But that does it for the Vanquish Soul section. And then where I have Kashtira filling in the earth and fire attributes in the deck, currently I have the Bestials filling in the dark attributes. Magnamut, Drew Swarm, absolutely broken cards. I don't know why they're still in the game. I'm surprised Konami hasn't done something about it. And then Baldrake, because fuck it, I need some more darks, and I wasn't quite sure what else to put in. I was thinking like maybe the Fantastical Dragon Phantasme, but I don't have one on hand. I was maybe gonna borrow one from a friend and like play with it. I don't really like it. I think it's a good side deck option, but depending on what deck you're against, it's like dead. Like you can't even do anything. And then for hand traps, triple Ghost Spell and triple Ash Blossom. These on the basis that Earth attribute, Fire attribute, if you kind of line up your attributes such that you're looking at them like the saturation of each one. So you can see the set, like kind of the ratios of each one that I'm aiming for right now. The most fire right now, just because Jiaolong's effect to search requires 2 fires. So getting into your fire card is actually quite important. Um, I don't think there's any card that requires 2 earths or 2 darks, but there are cards that require 2 fires. So that's why we are running 11 of them and only uh, 8 of dark and earth, respectively. Um, Obviously, that's not entirely accurate because you have the lines of pressured planet into the Kashtira, letting you kind of search the earth and fire. You have your raisins allowing you to search your earth and fire. You have your Jowlongs allowing you to search your earth and fire. Um, but being able to access your fires are probably some of the most important, especially right now. Because like Borger, that's earth and fire to burn. I believe Caesar Valius is one of each. So it's just nice to getting the earth and the dark is kind of easy once you have access to the fire. Once you have access to the fire attribute, you're really able to just kind of pick and do whatever you want because most of your searchers are here in terms of like your Vanquish Soul engine. Jiaolong's here, Raisin's here, and both of them have effects that require one or more fire monsters to resolve their searches. So all in all, that's the ratios that I went with: 8, 11, 8, Dark, Fire, Earth. And those have been feeling pretty good. I haven't had too many complaints about that. And then rounding out the deck, just some general tech. Rhoda, Triple Tactics, called by Pot of Prosperity. Again, getting to that fire, super important. Getting to that fire, super important. Getting to Raisin, super important. And then these last 3 cards were just kind of like filler. I wasn't quite sure what to do at this time. So I just decided, since this deck is kind of lacking a little bit of board break, putting in double Lightning Storm, single Feather Duster. And that does it for main deck. It's currently a 40 card main deck, so pretty tight. Not super crazy. Once we get to the next format, Mad Love is going to go to 3. So we're going to get the Holy Sue and Vanquish Soul support before we get the Canines. So when Mad Love goes to 3, we're probably going to be taking out both of the Baldrakes. We'll probably leave Druid Swarm and Magnumut just because good cards. We'll probably be losing one of the Rise Hearts. And both of the Pressured Planets in favor of the Holy Sues as well. And then what was my last switch? I don't quite remember. Oh, and then Pantera is probably also going to go down one when the Holy Sues come in. I don't know if Pantera makes the cut once Holy Sue gets in the deck. I'll have to see. I don't quite remember off the top of my head. But we're also getting rid of the board breakers from main deck. Those are probably going to go to side deck as well. So between all of this, it should open up plenty of room to kind of play with some of the ratios, kind of feel out like if I want to maintain the Borgers at 3, if Caesar Valius goes up to 2, kind of how they move around. Because Holy Sue is actually pretty reliant on dark attributes, which is a little interesting. Because she has to have Earth Dark or Fire Dark. So you have to have Dark and you have to have Earth or Fire. And she's kind of your turn 0 option because she is able to special summon herself if you have another Vanquish Soul card in the hand. And then she's able to special summon a secondary Vanquish Soul card during your opponent's turn. So it's like during your opponent's turn 0, you could actually get Holy Sue on the field, use the effect to pull out Raisin effect to search Jiaolong, Raisin effect to nuke a column, Jiaolong special summon self, Jiaolong search a card. And this has all happened before your first turn, and you're actually neutral in cards still. So you have 3 on board plus 5 in the hand turn 0, which is actually kind of crazy. And that's only going to be exacerbated by the K9 cards once those are in, because those are also turn 0 cards. Because I don't know if any of you are keeping up with like what OCG's building, but I don't believe very many OCG decks are even playing like non-engine hand traps. I don't think you're seeing the Ghost Sisters anymore. You're not seeing the Bestials. You're not seeing like anything that's not K9 or Vanquish Soul in the main deck, which is kind of impressive. I think that's probably optimal. I think most strategies, if they could have main deck hand traps or like in archetype hand traps, they would probably opt for it. But unfortunately, since most decks don't, that's why they dip into the Ghost Sisters, the Bestials, Droll, Nib, etc. Right? So it's super exciting to see in archetype hand traps and turn 0 interaction, and not just like light interaction. I think this is going to be one of the most annoying decks to play against coming up here. Now going to the extra deck. We got Core, Rock of the Vanquisher. It's kind of your bread and butter for Vanquish Soul. Allows you to reload your hand from the grave so you can get the proper attributes. Recycle your Raisin turn 1. Great card. I like the design. I think it's pretty fair. I think this is what Konami should generally strive for when designing archetypal rank 1s or just rank 1s in general. It has a clause that it can't be used as link material, which is nice. Well, not nice for me, but I think it's nice for game balance, because I think one of the problems is that it's too easy to link climb, because a lot of like the lower level link monsters have like no restrictions on what cards can be used to make them, and then even fewer restrictions on like what they can be used for. It's like they can be tributed, they can be linked off, they can be popped for material, etc. Right? Like I think one of the big problems with like Malice is like Link Garibo. Like that shit is so stupid. It's such a strong card, and it's generic enough that like it makes like Cyberse good on the sole basis that they have a really strong Link 1. But I think this is a really strong Link 1, and it's well designed. It lets you go +1 in card advantage, assuming it doesn't get interrupted. But I think the restrictions give it like a fair level of play against your opponents. Like you're not just climbing to like straight to the moon. Then Simple, Little Knight, and Masquerina pair, uh, amazing pair. Then I'm running Security Dragon, Nightmare Phoenix, and Nightmare Unicorn as options to kind of cycle the hand, kind of get cards in and out. Again, because Rock of the Vanquisher allows me to cycle back cards from the grave so easily, I can easily just discard Vanquish Soul cards and just add them straight back while going while gaining advantage not just with the body but with the field as well. And then Security Dragon's nice because it is non-destruction card effect, which is kind of cool. Because sometimes it's difficult to get cards outed. Then Saruja and my Link 5 Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. Pretty straightforward. I think I have like a good link curve in terms of like climbing up. It's very common that I'll go into the majority of the link 1s through 3s. I don't know if I've ever built this card in game, and this one's honestly come in clutch and has helped me win games a couple times, and break impossible boards. People get caught off guard all the time by it. It's like they'll control a link 2 and I'll have like 3 monsters on the field, or I'll have 2 and then I'll just summon out a third, and then they're holding effects, and then before they know it, she's out on the field. All effects are getting negated. I just linked off one of their monsters, et cetera, et cetera. Very, very scary card, actually. It has won me quite a few games. I think it is such a solid general tech piece. While not always the easiest to get into, I don't think it's impossible either. Because what's the requirement? 4+ effect monsters. Yeah. Then lastly, as I was talking, really easy to make rank 7s. Put some burn pressure on them. This, along with Heavy Borger's 3K turn 1 and 2, absolutely disgusting. You can quickly burn someone down if they're not ready for it. It really catches people off guard. They really don't know. That's pretty much it. It's just like burning somebody for 4K before they've even finished their first summon out of the extra deck really puts a lot of pressure on them to kind of like play fast. And I think that's when you often see people make mistakes. Big Eye, kind of for the same reason that like Security Dragon's pretty good. Just and Underworld Goddess, just non-destruction removal from the field. I've actually won games where people summon out big boss monsters, kind of nuking the field, and then I just take it back because it doesn't have any non-destruction protection. And then finally, and then last rank 7, Draco Sack. One of my favorite cards. Easy way to turn the field into 2 tokens. Link off, get your Masquerena, have the Masquerena float into your opponent's turn, and it's absolutely just oppressive. This weekend, I actually had a game where Mecha Phantom Beast lasted more than 1 turn on the field, so I actually got to use all 4 tokens for link material over 2 turns, and it was just absolutely just impossible for them to deal with that amount of card advantage. And then finally, Typhon and Zeus. Zeus, honestly, kind of ass in this deck just because I'm not really running that many XZs. I'm only running 3. The rest are links right now. And I'm really not even XZing that much. As I was kind of talking earlier, Loki is just better to have a lot of the main deck monsters on the field as opposed to pivoting them into extra deck monsters, just because the main deck monsters in Vanquish Soul are so strong. And they're so good at like tagging each other out, dodging effects. It's really difficult to like pin them down and really take care of them if you're piloting the deck well, I think. But that does it for the extra deck. 15 cards there. So 40 main, 15 there. And then finally for the extra deck, this is kind of where some of the tech pieces went that aren't quite. I tried to match the typing, kind of like we were talking in the main deck, but not all of them matched. The main one being Lancia. Lancia, still a pretty good side piece option, but I also got the Chaos Hunters. Um, Basically, the Chaos Hunters kind of come in for some of the uh, Bestials. These kind of come in favor of like the going first cards. So usually Dr. Madlove leaves, Snow Devil leaves, and then like some other like going first cards leave as well, in favor of Lancia, just because setting Snow Devil turn 2 is definitely not nearly as strong as setting it turn 1. Um, then Retaliating C. I was considering main decking Retaliating C, um, just due to the prevalence of decks that kind of transmission the start of their turn with a spell that special summons. We're talking Primite, we're talking Rizal Mitsu, if they open the Mitsu half of it. Um, but I ended up putting it in the side deck. I usually side it for Ghost Spell. Um, if it does come up, I actually won a game or a full match off of this card this weekend. I ended up losing the dice roll going second, and then I actually ended up winning game one versus a Blue Eyes Primite deck. They kind of bricked their first hand, followed by an OTK by me, and then game two, I was still going second, but I was able to bring in the Retaliating C. And when I say this card fucks Blue Eyes player's life up, this card fucks Blue Eyes player's life up. This is actually one of the grossest things that I think I've ever seen. Um, if they open with Lordly Load, you just summon Retaliating C, and then their turn is basically over. They can't do all the graveyard setup that they need to do for the deck to function. And they either can kind of climb into their like extra deck monsters while losing the recycling capability of the deck, or they can just kind of call it early and pass turn. Um, the crazy part is that this isn't even one turn though. This is just an effect that exists for as long as the card's on the field. Um, then classic board breaks, evenly matched, and then finally a little bit of Mitsu hate, Mask of Restrict. I think both of those are pretty self-explanatory. Mask of Restrict, no tribute summoning, or no tributing at all. So that's the Mitsuguri archetype. But that pretty much does it. Overall, I've been really happy with how this deck's been performing. I'm definitely winning a lot more games than with the Vanquish Soul deck, or not the Vanquish Soul, than the Dogmatica deck that I was running for San Antonio. As fun as that deck was, it just really wasn't that good, honestly. Like, let's be real. Um, but super excited for those Holy Sues to come in. I don't know when they'll come in because I know they're being. I wonder if they'll ship out some of them early as part of like the pre-release openings, like the people that I ordered from. But we'll have to see. I'm not exactly sure. I feel like I might get not screwed per se, but I feel like they're not gonna like send mine out like super quick. Cause if they can like kind of like short the card price and send them to me when they're a little cheaper, that's more profit margin for them. Anyways, I'm reaching the end of my time on this video. I hope you liked today's profile. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.